Elena Carter sits at the center of a birthday table where no one is pretending anymore. The candles on her cake are still burning, melting wax into silence while her family watches her like she's already been sentenced. Margaret Carter slides a folded envelope across the table without breaking eye contact. Jason lifts his phone instantly, camera already recording. Richard Carter pushes his chair back and stands, forcing the nearby restaurant to notice. "From this family you are officially cut off," he says, voice carrying too cleanly, too rehearsed. The room tightens, strangers stop eating. Elena doesn't flinch, not even when the envelope lands in front of her with the words formal notice of family disassociation staring up at her. Margaret speaks softly, almost satisfied. "You made your choices, now you live with them." Jason zooms in closer, hungry for a reaction, but Elena only looks at the phone lens pointed at her face. A faint, unreadable smile forms as she takes the envelope. No argument, no pleading, no scene. Just the scrape of her chair as she stands. For a moment, everyone expects her to break. Instead, she turns away and walks out of her own birthday dinner, while her family watches like they've won something. Her chair scrapes softly as she finally turns away from the table, leaving behind the birthday cake no one touches. Jason's camera follows her until she disappears through the restaurant doors. Outside, the night air feels colder than expected. Elena sits in her car alone, the envelope now resting on the passenger seat like evidence. Jason's video notification already lights up her phone, posted, shared, spreading faster than her family could have intended. Messages begin stacking immediately. Relatives, family, friends, half accusations, half performances of concern. Inside the restaurant, her family continues eating as if nothing happened. Elena exhales once and finally breaks the seal on the envelope. The pages inside are precise, sterile, legal termination of accounts, access, and family-linked assets under discretionary authority clauses. No emotion, no hesitation, just structure designed to erase her quietly. Her phone rings. "Jason." She answers it. His voice comes through with a laugh she can hear even through the signal. "You should have seen it. People are sharing it everywhere. Mom's calling it necessary discipline." Behind him, restaurant noise still hums. He never even left. Elena asks, "Who told you to film it?" A pause, then he shrugs it off. "Dad said it had to be public, so you couldn't twist it later." Then lower, almost casual, "Oh, and Mom said your husband not showing up says everything." The line cuts before she responds. Her phone immediately lights again, unknown number. Incoming call, Orion executive line. Elena stares at the screen without moving. Because whatever is calling her now wasn't part of her family's story. It was part of something much larger. The phone keeps ringing, steady and unrelenting, filling the silence of her car until it feels like it belongs there more than she does. Elena doesn't answer. She watches the name on the screen without moving, as if waiting for it to reveal itself as something else. It doesn't. It stays the same, official, impossible, deliberate. And for the first time since leaving that restaurant, she hesitates, finger hovering just above the call. Who is really calling her now, and what do they already know? Elena still doesn't answer the Orion executive line call. The screen keeps vibrating against her palm, steady, clinical, as if it has all the time in the world. She finally sets the phone face down. Inside the car, the envelope feels heavier now that she's actually reading past the first page. Not just termination, there are appended clauses, frozen credit lines, severed advisory access, quiet removal from family-linked discretionary protections. Everything written like she was never meant to question it. Her jaw tightens slightly as she flips another page. Outside the windshield, notifications continue stacking on her locked screen. Jason's video is spreading fast. Comment threads, family group chats, names she hasn't heard in years suddenly acting like they have the right to judge her again. Then her phone buzzes again, this time not a call, a message from Jason. "Don't pretend this is unfair. You brought this on yourself." Elena reads it once, doesn't reply. Her eyes shift back to the Orion call still lighting up the screen. It stops for a second, then immediately starts again. Same number, same persistence. As if whoever is calling already expects silence. A second message appears, this time from an unknown sender tied to the same Orion line. "We can see you haven't responded." Elena's fingers pause over the phone. That wording isn't casual, it's precise, observational. Before she can react, a soft knock hits her driver's side window. Once, then again. She turns her head slowly. A man in a dark suit stands outside the car, expression neutral, holding a thin tablet in one hand. He doesn't smile. He simply waits. And the Orion call is still ringing inside her phone. The knock on the window doesn't escalate, it resolves into something worse. The man in the dark suit simply raises the tablet slightly, as if confirming her identity, then gestures once toward the phone still face down on her seat. Elena doesn't unlock the door. Through the glass his voice is muted but visible. "Ms. Carter, we need a response confirmation." Her phone still face down lights up again, Orion executive line, persistent, structured, unignorable. Then a second notification breaks through everything else. Jason's video has crossed into mainstream feeds. Her own face, silent at the birthday table, now plays on autoplay across multiple platforms. The caption has changed from family gossip to public narrative. Heiress cut off live at birthday dinner. Commentary shifts rapidly. People begin dissecting her expression, her silence, her lack of reaction. Some call it arrogance, others call it calculated. Inside her family's world, the interpretation is already being rewritten. Margaret Carter stands in their home living room the next morning, phone in hand, watching the clip on repeat. "She didn't even cry," she says sharply. "That means she was prepared." Richard sits across from her, uneasy. Prepared for what? Jason leans against the wall, still scrolling. People are loving it, it's everywhere, she's trending. But the tone shifts when a second wave of attention hits. Financial analysts, quiet accounts at first, begin mentioning the Carter Group in relation to sudden instability. Not collapse, not yet, just unexpected review flags in systems they don't fully understand. Across town, Elena is still in the car when the man outside finally taps the tablet twice. A message appears on her screen, this time overriding notifications. Orion Systems Integration has detected direct lineage conflict. Carter Group. Elena's breath still doesn't quicken, but her eyes sharpen. This isn't about the video anymore. The man outside speaks again, clearer this time through the glass. "Ms. Carter, your family's name just entered our dependency framework." Her phone immediately switches screens on its own. A new alert appears. Carter Group flagged for strategic review. And beneath it, one line she doesn't recognize yet, but will soon. Initiated by authorization, a veil. The Carter Group boardroom doesn't feel like a place of authority anymore. It feels like a system waiting for permission that never comes. Richard Carter stares at the central dashboard. It refreshes once, then freezes. A second later, half the data streams vanish entirely. "That's not possible," he mutters, leaning forward. No one responds quickly enough to reassure him. Margaret stands near the glass wall, phone pressed tight to her ear. Every call ends the same way, disconnected before transfer. Executives, partners, suppliers, one after another slipping out of reach without explanation. Jason is no longer joking. He's refreshing financial feeds repeatedly, watching small indicators turn red in sequence. Not dramatic, not loud, just systematic. "This is just a technical outage," Richard insists again, louder this time. "It has to be." Then a notification appears on the main board, unsent by any human operator, routed through an external authority layer. Pending re-evaluation of Carter group-linked integrations. Margaret reads it out loud slowly. Re-evaluation of what? Jason's face tightens. That's not internal. Across the city, Elena is still in the car. The man outside is no longer knocking. He's waiting, perfectly still, as if the situation has already moved beyond him. The tablet in his hand shows continuous updates, systems aligning, permissions shifting, locks engaging and disengaging across invisible networks. Elena finally picks up her phone again. The Orion executive line is still active, but now there's a second incoming call layered beneath it. Adrian Vales. She answers, No greeting, no warmth, just his voice, steady, precise. They're reacting faster than expected, he says. Do you want containment or full execution of the dependency break? A long pause follows. Inside that silence, the decision is already forming consequences far beyond the car, far beyond her family, far beyond what they think they're still controlling. Elena looks at the man outside the window, then back at her phone, and asks quietly, If I say nothing, what happens next? The line stays open, but no one answers immediately. Elena's voice is quiet when she finally speaks again into the open call. Proceed. There is no hesitation left in it, no performance, just a decision that closes every remaining door her family thought they still had. A brief pause follows on Adrian's end, as if confirming she truly intends it. Then his response is immediate. Understood. The line disconnects. Across the city, systems that were already shifting finally lock into their final state. Not with noise, not with warning, just completion. At the Carter Group headquarters, the change is first noticed in silence. The central board refreshes and does not recover. One by one, active financial channels grey out. Supplier links collapse into inactive states. External funding lines disappear from the dashboard as if they were never stable to begin with. Richard Carter stands frozen. Reconnect it, he snaps at an assistant. I can't, the assistant replies, voice thin. Access is gone. Margaret stares at the screen, trying to find a pattern that still makes sense. This is a mistake, she says again, but it doesn't carry the same certainty anymore. Jason doesn't speak at first. He just watches the feed as Carter Group exposure indicators begin updating across external systems, public-facing now, not private. Then it lands. A single verified alert across internal and external networks. Orion Dynamics, dependency withdrawal complete. Jason whispers without realizing it, Orion. And for the first time the memory of the birthday dinner shifts in meaning. Elena's silence, the camera, the envelope, none of it looks passive anymore. It looks like timing. Elsewhere, Elena stands outside the same car she was in before. The man in the suit is gone now. No knock, no presence, only the fading echo of systems that no longer need physical confirmation. Adrian arrives minutes later. He doesn't ask what she feels. He never does. They're stable in isolation now, he says simply. Elena nods once, and my name. Untouched, he replies. It was never part of their structure. That answer settles something final in her expression, not relief, not satisfaction, just closure. Back at the Carter home, silence takes over where outrage used to be. Calls no longer come in. Messages slow, then stop. The video of the birthday dinner is still circulating online, but now the comments have changed tone, reframing everything in hindsight, searching for what they missed. Margaret sits alone at the dining table. Richard no longer argues. Jason has stopped replaying the clip. Because the meaning has inverted completely. What they thought was public humiliation has become documentation of a system they never understood. Elena is no longer being spoken about as someone cut off. She is referenced in passing now, if at all, as a point of origin in something much larger. Weeks later there is no announcement, no confrontation, no reconciliation attempt. Only restructuring. And in that quiet aftermath, Elena remains exactly where she chose to be, outside the reach of the family that tried to define her, and beyond the version of her life they believed they controlled. Not erased. Repositioned. The last trace of the Carter family's certainty disappears when their name stops carrying influence and starts carrying history. And when Elena looks out over the skyline beside Adrian, there is nothing left demanding her attention from the past. Only distance. Only silence. Only the understanding that what was taken from her was never stability, it was permission. And she no longer needs it.